Hey, what's going on everyone? Keith with the Tulsa Moto Club, and today, my garage is a pretty big mess.
But don't worry, we're not going to be cleaning the garage in today's video. Even if we wanted to, we couldn't because it's pouring rain outside. Maybe we'll save that for next weekend or something. And in fact, today's video doesn't even take place today, or in my garage for that matter. Last weekend I took the opportunity to get some welding work done on the SR250. Since I like the skills and the tools necessary to do the job on my own, I got some help from my friend Alex.
So once we got the bike unloaded and inside Alex's garage, the first thing we needed to do was put the new shocks on for a test fit. We needed to do this so we could see where everything was currently lining up and measure where we would make all of our cuts when we start modifying the frame. But since the new shocks were a little bit taller than the original ones, there were a few parts we had to remove first in order to make the swing arm drop down as low as we needed it to. One of those parts was a small little nub on the frame that served as a mount for the brake return spring. We had to cut this off, but no big deal because we'll just relocate it at the end. So we got the new shocks on and they look great. And after I finished drooling over them, it was time to get straight to work. Alex started by making the first cut, but quickly stopped and suggested that we put a brace into the middle of the frame. That way it doesn't move around or warp or anything while we're cutting bits and pieces of it out. For that we just took a scrap piece of metal and tacked it in place, and it did just fine the whole time. Now back to cutting shit up. So the plan is to remove the entire tail end of the seat portion of the frame and to cut a notch in the front end of that and lift it up a little bit higher than where it already sits. We're going to be lifting up the whole front portion of the frame for two reasons. One, to achieve that flat line look that goes from the tank to the seat on a traditional Caferacer design, and to make sure that there's enough clearance for the back wheel so it doesn't bump up against the seat while it's being ridden. Once we did a few test fits and found that line that we wanted from the tank to the seat, we welded the frame in place at the front end and it was time to move on to the tail end. We started by making some slugs, and if you're unsure what slugs are, they're really just smaller pieces of pipe that go inside your existing frame tubing, and then you'll use that to line up the new tubing you're going to attach. This ensures a much straighter and stronger weld. Next we took the new hoop that would be installed and we measured where we would cut it and we made the cut. Okay, so before I start showing you the footage of us installing the new hoop, let me just give you a little bit of an explanation. You'll see that we end up making a lot of modifications to the hoop itself, and we chop off a little bit more of the frame. There's a lot of reasons we did this, and a big one is that I bought a hoop that was a little too narrow for my existing frame, so there's a lot of little changes that had to be made on the spot. Thankfully, Alex is a pretty skilled welder and a pretty quick problem solver, so it was really no big issues and we got it all taken care of. But if you have any questions on the problems that we ran into and you want to know how we solved them or anything like that, just hit me down in the comments below and I'll be sure to get you an answer. Anyway, back to the video. So after some trial and error, we got everything tacked in place where we wanted it, and it was time to finish up all the welds. So at this point we're pretty much finished. All we have to do now is knock the brace out that we added at the beginning and reattach that little spring mount. And all that's left to do now is weld in a new cross support and some side supports. Now I've got the bike back at my house and I'm really happy with the outcome. There are a few welds that I'm going to clean up myself, but Alex did all the welding for me. And that's pretty much it for the frame modifications. They're all done. For now. In the next video, we'll get all the welds cleaned up and all the other parts that we've got so far. We'll get those installed into the bike too. And maybe a couple other things to the KZ. Who knows? Just make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And if you're already subscribed, dope! Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and here's a couple other videos I think you might enjoy as well. Again, if you have any questions at all about anything in the video, make sure to hit me down below in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Later.